So, so Patrick, I can maybe ask you, you've been involved in quite a few of these events before, haven't you? So how is it, why did you want to kind of take that step back from being the artist, being the person who was, presenting to somebody who was actually looking at what other people do and trying to understand what they're
doing? I think both things are essential, really. I think the reason I'm attracted to this field is that you learn just as much from being a participant as you do from organizing an event or a project. There seem to be different sides of the relationship, but actually everybody's on the same side of that relationship. By participating, you are contributing to the development of a project. You are creating the project by participating in it. I mean, this is something I learned at art college when I was a student, when, people like Marcel Duchamp, they said that the audience, they actually complete the piece of work, and it's not fully resolved until someone is looking at it and trying to create their own meaning for that work. And I think it's the same for these kind of projects, that I think it's essential to participate as well as try to develop projects. These two things go hand in hand. I don't think you can have one without the other.
Yeah. What do you think, Nina? How do you think it's been this year to be on that side of things?
Well, yes, because my background is fashion. Okay,
yeah.
I'm really happy that we meet different great people here, and I can see a lot of people, they willing to contribute. When I look at all the input from different friends, it's very interesting. I mean, how art and fashion, we can work very closely together, and it's really give me a lot of great inspiration. When I doing the fashion design, fashion business, and anything related to the fashion area, and also fashion sustainability, which I think give me a lot very interesting idea, which I never think about it. So anyway, thank for everyone a great contribution to our project. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little drum roll, and we're going to find out who has done well in the refracted view. So Billy, could you just give a little overview of the whole of what you wanted and what's happened in terms of people responding?
I think it's I've learned so much from being here and being with everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just come up. Great.
No, I'm about to show it.
Thank you. And it's I think what Patrick just said is so spot on about people completing things. I mean, our cards, which have taken a very long time to develop, the prompts have been written through workshops with adults with learning difficulties. And the pleasure it's going to give them to know that people have actually read that particular prompt and have responded to it. It's something that they have created. It's going to mean, and when we feed this back, unfortunately, we couldn't manage to, the outreach worker, Amy from East Kent Mencap, got ill on Thursday, and we had a plan to have some of them here. So we'll probably have to relay it, or maybe share the video with them would be nice. And they'll be able to look on Instagram and see people's comments and see how, because we've made these cards, they'll go out into the world. We won't really get any feedback like today.
So we've got the entries here. How do you want to do this? Do you want to just?
I'll take you through them very, very quickly, and then I'll tell you who's won.
Great, let's go for it. Okay,
so who has won? So we've got this one here. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to remember people's names. I'm not very good with the names, but it's the tights filled in, stuffed with wool. And what the comment that came back was that everybody loved the flag waving at the crows. So there was real links with the bird song and the the holes there in the refracted viewfinders and the flag. It just responded to so many elements. So that was great. Next one.
Yep.
This one, yes. This one's got to be star in so many ways. It's got 4W cop crocheted into it. I think this is Patrick and his partner's beautiful contribution. And sadly, the other photo isn't here, but that photo was so still and so lovely with that flag in there. So, and somebody put on Instagram that they liked the interweaving of the grass, how it went through. And I think that's really lovely. Next one. Oh, this is by yourself, Alid. This is just absolutely beautiful and stunning and simple and lovely. It's on the washing line. Can't get out very much, and the wind will pass through the flag. And I just thought it went with the whole thing about remnants and all that. Brilliant.
Thank you.
And this one by Sonia. Fabulous. Again, it's the reference to the insects and the idea that a flag can be almost anything you decide. And the idea that insects should have a flag was very lovely. And the feather, the significance of a feather found in walking is, quite powerful. I love this one as well, Tamsin, if I remember rightly. Tamsin, quite funny. That was very, very, very funny because I don't know if Tamsin initially sent it without revealing too much. And asked us to guess what was the flag. And then it came out that it's pants on an umbrella, which I think is a great flag. Brilliant flag. Next one.
Right. Oh, I think that's it, isn't it?
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. So our drum roll is that the way I found this very difficult, as I explained to everybody on Twitter and everywhere else. I hate choosing winners. So I didn't choose. And I set up a panel very quickly, having lost our East Kent MenCap members, a panel of judges. And basically we've got a winner chosen. No, we have 2 winners chosen by the East Kent MenCap scrap store, which I think is rather brilliant. And the scrap store winners, I'm going to have to describe it because I forgot people's names. It's the yellow crocheted flag.
Right.
For obvious reasons, it's using thread and so on. The scrap store sells a lot of recycled threads. And the umbrella with the knickers assemblage. So we've got 2 winners from the scrap store, which is brilliant. Sonia's clapping. And we have a bookie winner. Which I was really pleased about because the bookie actually decided to choose a winner. And the bookie winner, this is the Margate Bookie, by the way, who funded our project.
Right. What is the Margate Bookie? As a bookshop, I thought it was like a gambling, a betting.
It's brilliant, isn't it? No, it's been set up by Andres Loizu, who's a Margate boy. And he had decided he wanted to have a book festival that was inclusive to the many varieties of people who live in Margate. So it's open and accessible. And he set it up, I think, in 2014. And it's gone from strength to strength. And it's very, very popular, gets lots of funding from the Arts Council. And it is about, not making the book festival too exclusive, having fun, involve lots of people, and of course involving the adults with learning difficulties was an important part.
And who did the Margate Bookie choose?
They chose Tamsin's.
Oh.
And I've got a statement from them. They said the one with the tights, because we like the idea of seeing art everywhere.
So to confirm, did Tamsin win? Was one of the winners the other one as
well? We've given out 3 prizes in effect. I mean, I could say one's a first and 2 are commendations just to make it all a bit. But I think they're chosen for different reasons by 2 different groups.
Great.
Which I think is rather lovely. And
Tamsin's saying that mine wasn't the tights.
Oh, that's right. It's not Tamsin's, is it? That's the first one that we showed the slide of. Yours is the umbrella with the knickers, Tamsin, isn't it? Yeah, the one with the tights is the first one of the flags, and that's Laura. Laura. Yeah, Laura's the one with. Yeah, that's Laura.
So have you got, Billy? We probably need to move on a little bit. But can you gesture the prize to the screen so that we can see what?
I can present you with these. What I would like to do is, you have all emailed me your entries, so you have my email address. Email me your address, and I'll put them in the post to you. You will actually get. Here we are. I will do this. A whole pack.
Excellent. They look great.
They are rather beautiful, and they're A5 size. And if you would like to keep in touch and let us know how you use them and how you found it, it would be lovely to be able to feed back to these Kent MenCat members who, and there was our prompt.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, that's great, and it's good that everybody. Well, it's good that people who took part are actually here today to say thank you. So, and yet, well done for everybody for entering. Mine was basically it was a garlic wrapper, but anyway, well done everybody. I did actually have a couple of questions for the three of you, Zoe, Patrick, and Billy, before we move on, and it is to do with kind of, I guess, first of all, the international element of the Congress and how that's worked out, and how you think, you know, this being digital and how it's worked out in terms of being so international in the digital format rather than being in a physical location. Who wants to go first?
Can I go? Yes.
Yeah.
I miss Huddersfield. I loved going to Huddersfield, worked with Sonia and built a labyrinth out of textiles. And I like the international element a lot and the inclusivity of it. But I also like the being with people side of it. It's quite different.
Okay, there's a vote for Huddersfield. How about you, Zoe? What do you think?
Yeah. I've never been to the real life Huddersfield one, but I think it would be really lovely in the future if you were possible to bring the real life ones back in tandem with the online version. So, you know, everyone's they can have that experience of being with everybody there and then, but also all those wonderful different people across the globe can join in as well that can't necessarily make it in real life. That would be amazing.
I mean, it was quite surreal to have the pocket disco between different time zones, and some people genuinely having to use a flashlight to get their atmosphere going, and other people just having broad daylight outside. There's actually a comment in the chat from Anna, just saying, as a Canadian, how glad she was that she could participate being in Canada. And we've had a load of people from Brazil as well, Cadu, and certainly Babak did his crazy event yesterday from Brazil, which was just, I still can't believe what he did, but it was really good. So yeah,
it's not just nationalities as well. We looked in quite a lot of detail at the Google Analytics last year. It's also changed the gender participation rates of the Congress really significantly. So the face-to-face congresses were getting between 10 and 15% women. We now have, I think we'll get over 50 this year, but it was 40 something last year. And I guess that's because women very often can't get permission, time away from their other responsibilities to come to a congress, or they're maybe less likely to be funded or whatever. It is worth also noting that 3 of the organisers wouldn't be able to come if this moved back to Huddersfield, or probably wouldn't be able to come if this moved back to Huddersfield. So it's not a decision to make. We all like walking, but we need to be.
It's a really good point. It's a really good point you make about. I mean, my mum watched the How Women Walk with me yesterday, and she was really. She was so pleased that was presented, and she was quite fired up as well. And I mean, I wasn't trying to sort of there wasn't a debate about whether it should be online or whether it should be in person. But it's opened up, definitely, like Sophia, it's opened up some amazing possibilities. Patrick and Nina, have you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what the other people said. A few years ago, I could only imagine these kind of projects working to their best with face-to-face kind of participation. But it seems quite naive now, that thought before, because what we've been forced into over the last couple of years because of the COVID situation, it's forced us to rethink a lot of these kind of relationships. And I managed to participate in a few projects internationally. So I was walking in one country simultaneously to others. And I learned a lot from that experience and realized that you can get a lot out of it. But I think it would be great to keep the option. I think it gives everyone more options to when you're constructing projects, when you're participating in projects. I think the same things happened in teaching, to be honest, because if someone's teaching full time and then the whole institution goes into lockdown, you can't just stop teaching. You have to come up with other ways of delivering that curriculum. And now that some areas are coming back to normal, some probably will a bit later on. It's good to see how some of these components which were forced on us during the COVID lockdowns and things, we can see how useful they are. So now they're being used even when there's face-to-face delivery as well, because it gives you so much more options to kind of communicate information to students and their back and forth dialogue and so on. So I think all of these attributes are good for teaching. They're good for our field. They could be useful in many different fields, I think.
Yeah, and it's also been good to see some technical innovations this year as well. People trying out new platforms, and we've seen that yesterday and this afternoon. And the time and effort that people put into their films, and it's been great to have that kind of film and then the discussion afterwards. Anyway,
Jodie's made the point that it would be good to get a funding source, and it would, and I think people shouldn't be complacent about how much time and effort and money it takes to run this. I mean, hundreds of hours of my time in building the website and facilitating, and as a team we've put in hundreds of hours of time, and because it's all voluntary, it can't be guaranteed. I'm a freelancer. If I was to get a contract next summer, I would have to do that, and so a funding source would give us some security. So if anybody's got any bright ideas, that would be great.
Wouldn't the British Arts Council love this?
It would take as much time to do a British Arts Council application as it would to build the Congress.
Also, we have different arts councils, one in England, one in Wales, one in Scotland. It's a mixed ecology.
The other difficulty is that my experience of Arts Council funding is if you have something that's very academic, the Arts Council actually thinks that academia ought to be funding it. They're not.
Although, to be fair, this has been very academic for the last couple of years since it moved on.
Yeah, but it does have that, when you start putting down your people who are involved, and you start saying these are the people who are involved, it does sort of things. Can I just say also very quickly about the cards? Can I just say that the cards are designed for touch, and of course we don't get that on the digital. So those of you who do receive cards, the rhizo is very textile and feels very like textiles. So we'd love to hear how you find the touch.
Great. Actually, I think
I just want to say one last thing about funding, Alid, because I am slightly grumpy about it, and I don't want to be too grumpy, but the number of donations we've got so far equates to less than 50p per participant. So I'm not quite sure how we encourage people to donate, which is our only source of income currently. And whether we should, what I'd like to know whether people think we should move towards a charge for the Congress that goes some way to covering costs, since people don't donate.
I mean, that's definitely one that's another plug for people just to go to the Ko-fi site, and it's very quick and easy to donate the cost of a drink or two.
Yeah, and our idea was that it would be a cost of a drink or two per session you attended, you know, £3 for an hour's something. But actually we've got £3, well, less than £3 per participant, only about 20 people.
Okay, so I think we've had definitely reiterate what Fiona said, and Fiona's done an amazing job just putting all of the things together, and the same for the rest of the team, Carl and Sonia and Elia and Graham and every. I mean, it's an entirely crowdsourced event, so I think we should all be really pleased with how it's gone so well. And actually, we've got a couple of things that we wanted to kind of talk about in terms of taking things forward. Fiona, could you introduce the bus ticket potential?
Yeah, so there's just 3 things to update people about. At the year before last, when we did meet physically in Kirklees, Huddersfield and Marsden and Dewsbury, there was a tour called Marsden by Accident, I think. I don't know whether anybody here went on it, but it involved Christopher Marsden, a guy called Marsden, going around a village called Marsden and finding things named Marsden. And they needed to do a bus journey as part of it, and the bus didn't pick them up, it drove straight past them. So Christopher complained and got 20 complimentary bus day riders in response to his complaint. And we haven't been able to meet obviously last year or this year, but we're hoping that we might be able to have something that happens that means people can get out and about. So we're wondering about having some kind of bus explorers competition. And offering those tickets out to 20 individual people who would be prepared to document their explorations in some way, and then turning them into a session next year. The session itself could be online if it needed to be, but the explorations would need to be face to face. So I don't know if anybody here's got. I think our feeling was that people who were here, and if you want to be a bus explorer, they're valid in West Yorkshire or Manchester. So if you're British and fancy whizzing around on a bus, do you want to let me know?
Or if you want to come and visit the UK to do it. It's a fascinating area of the UK, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I say something on bus explorers?
Yeah.
My first bit of psychogeography I did was just to take my kids to the bus station, and they picked a letter between A and Z, and we caught the first bus that went from that stand, and then we got off that bus at some randomly determined point by numbers, but it ended up our dog was sick, so we got off the bus at that point, and then we just walked where we were. So we could do some nice psychogeography with bus tickets for sure.
Great.
If I start a thread on Facebook, Richard, would you come and put a comment on there and start the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay. Right, Sonia, are you ready to recite the poem, please?
Yes, if this is an opportune moment. So if you were in the Game On session, we asked you to put a description in the chat of where you were and what you could see. And I've taken words from the chat and turned them into this tapestry poem. So here we go. It's the tapestry poem 4W COP21. On the island, I see a dusty vineyard, a dried willow, a glimpse of the sea looking out, looking at you, intermittently shrouded in fog. In bed in our attic, I see late magnolia flowers blooming in the mushroom-coloured decor of the Shanghai quarantine hotel, pots of dull sky above a beige wall. Put out of sight the piles of paperwork, the glasses from last night, the jackdaw at the window, the grey sky of Conway. There are hills, fields, a river, inherited porcelain boats, houses, gardens and a castle spread all over the kitchen table. By an obelisk in the big smoke, I see the TV, the outside world, burgundy painted nowhere near burgundy, red stains in the sunset. There are dogs, an old diabetic dog, a black Labrador sleeping, a walker on the field. Between the woods and the trees, on the extinct volcano top, the fourth water, glinting as the har dissipates, birds are pecking at stone. In Yorkshire, in Glasgow, in hazy Huddersfield, in Old Reekie, in a kitchen with a brew, the faces of strangers, friends and familiars, the vibrant flowers against a brick wall.
Wow. That's really good. That's amazing. Well done.
All your words, folks. Well done.
You must have done a bit of curation there, though.
Oh, there's quite a lot of curation going on there.
That was amazing. So we aim to close by 7. Does anybody else have?
There's 2 other things on my list. We went maybe a little bit quickly. So I've got Madeline and Rafi's image to share. Did you get my email? Have you got it on your slide deck already, or shall I just share it from my screen?
I'll make you the host.
Okay, cool. Lovely, thank you. So just very quickly, I'll go into my images, and here we have. So this was the session of Dreams of an Urban Trash Up, and we talked about how you collaborate online in a kind of flat 2-dimensional space and create together, kind of being more used to working in rooms. And so this was created in a platform that might be familiar to some people called Mural. And if I just zoom in, so it was crowd done. I think there were about 15 of us in the session. So this was a blank piece of paper at the beginning of the session. And we together created it from images that were on our computers, images that were on the internet, bits of text, bits of scribbling, people playing with pens. And what was particularly interesting about it is that you could build on, everybody could edit each other. So you put something on there and then people moved them around. I'm just going to zoom in. You might not be able to see that, but that somebody had put in there, remember the truth dentist, and I added to that, forget the lie hairdresser. So it was just crazy, completely bonkers, and we could have played with it for hours instead of the 45 minutes that we had, including the kind of training session, but worth knowing about as a collaborative tool and for thinking in terms of I think it was Rafi who said we're used to thinking a bit nostalgically about things that we lose or give away, and thinking about the potential of stuff that's casual, that it really is just trash that's just randomly collected. So that was nice. I like that. Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all your hard work. It was so wonderful to see you all and to work with you.
Thanks, Tamsin.
Thank you.
Looking forward to a hybrid version next year when we can do bits of online and bits of togetherness. Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to the core team. To the core team, a big clap.
If you want the ceasefire journey, very quickly.
Go on.
Okay.
Subversive couples.
Do you remember the ceasefire game that Elliot played with us in the first session? Okay,
yeah.
Here it is. This is the mashup version. We leave the house in Windermere, pass a windmill, see a wombat singing Wonderwall, and meet Wainwright. There are wells, waterfalls, and walls with windows onto will-o'-the-wisps. Whales wail with wolves and weevils. We watch Vim Vendors and Walter Benjamin wander past, warbling "We Will Rock You." We leave the house in Conway, pass a castle, see a crow singing Sweet Caroline, and meet Chris Brasher. In Chiswick, we pass an old can with a crow digging in. There's a caravan of love and camels in Coventry. In Cornmere, a coven of cormorants sing carols to Cole Meddings and Rob Cohen. We leave the house in Omar. We pass an obelisk and an oliphant on the observatory. An ostrich is singing "O Calcutta," an orangutan offers "Oh, what a beautiful morning" on the oboe. Over the hills and far away are Oprah, Othello, and Sonia Overall. Only myself notices. We leave the house in Prestatyn, pass a puffball, see a penguin singing Park Life, and meet Peter Purvis. There's a plover by the pizza oven and a pony on the postbox. The Pope and the postman Pat share songs by the Pogues. When we leave the house in Papua New Guinea, we don't know where we are, what we're seeing, or what is famous. We arrive at 4W Cop.
Oh,
Excellent. I think that has got to be the finale. That's brilliant. And well done, Sonia, for putting all that together. Right. Thanks, everybody.